What is that?
I don't know. I've never seen one of those before.
Well, how do we find out what that is?
We can use the scientific method.
What is the scientific method?
The scientific method is a way of discovery that scientists use to discover things about the world.
That sounds great, but how do we do that?
Well, the scientific method has many steps that are very simple. First, we must make an observation.
That sounds great, but how do we do that?
Well, the scientific method has many steps that are very simple. First, we must make an observation.
Well, good. We already did that. We observed that the thing is an animal we have never seen before.
Exactly. Good job. The next part of the scientific method is to form a question about what we observed.
Well, I want to know if the thing is another dog. So, is this creature a dog?
Great question. Now we have to form a hypothesis. A hypothesis is an educated guess about what we have observed.
Well, it has 4 legs like us dogs, 2 ears, 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth like us dogs. So yes, hypothesis that is a dog like us.
Great! Now we have to conduct an experiment to test if this is a dog. So how will we know for sure if it's a dog?
Well, dogs chase balls and we bark. So if it chases balls and also barks, it's like us dogs.
Well, that's great. We'll test that experiment. The last step is to draw a conclusion.
Well, it doesn't bark and it doesn't chase balls, so I conclude that it is not a dog.
So did you know that what we just did is an example of deductive reasoning?
Deductive reasoning? What is that?
Deductive reasoning is when you start with something broad, like what is this animal, and you work it down to more specific components, such as is it a dog? Then you come to a conclusion that it is not a dog, based on the evidence that we found. You see?
That makes sense. But what other way of discovering things is there?
Well, there's also inductive reasoning. With inductive reasoning, you find the evidence first, and this leads you to a theory. For example, we would have asked, is this an animal first, instead of is it a dog? Then we would have noticed that it doesn't chase balls, and it doesn't bark, and it doesn't behave like us. So it can't be a dog. It works from the bottom up, while deductive reasoning works from the top down.
Oh! That makes sense, but you said it leads to a theory. What's a theory?
Well, there are many different ways to look at things, and many explanations, but these explanations have varying degrees of evidence and support. For example, there are hypotheses, theories, and laws. First, we look at a hypothesis, which is simply a tentative explanation that must be tested. It does not yet have any proof or support. An example of this can be seen in our hypothesis about this animal. You hypothesized that it was a dog.
So because I said it was a dog, was I wrong and the experiment failed?
Of course not. Finding out that this isn't a dog is just as important as finding out what it is. And theories and laws have to go through plenty of testing, and sometimes the scientists find out they're wrong.
Okay, so if that's a hypothesis, what's a theory?
A theory is a well-tested, widely accepted view that explains facts about the world.
Like what?
Well, like Darwin's theory of evolution. Without going into too much detail, it essentially says that our ancestors were wolves, and that humans share a common ancestor with today's monkeys.
That's amazing. But then what is a law?
A law is based on many experiments that have all gone and proven it to be true. Laws have to go through a lot of testing before they are considered a law. Laws are used to describe the universe and the earth.
Well, what is an example of a law?
Gravity, for instance. There's a law called Newton's law of gravity. It essentially states that we don't float away from the earth or fly around because there's a force called gravity that is acting upon us at all times that keeps us down on the earth.
Wow, that's incredible! I learned so much. My brain is kind of tired. Can we have a snack, please?
Let's go get some milk bones.
Yay!